Hello, today for review I've hunted a rare beast, it's Campfire Audio Supermoon. Unfortunately I don't have an opportunity to make ears impressions and to order a custom version because Supermoon is one of 3 models that Campfire Audio made in custom shells. But I've got sample versions that used in the store for people to audition this model before buying, and I think that it will be experience really close to custom in-ear monitors. Actually, Campfire Audio are pretty humble in terms of price for their customs. They have 3 models, and this one costs $1,500. Of course, it's not affordable model, but it's not as expensive as they can sometimes be. I also did a review for their 5 balanced armature driver customs, or actually universal version of customs Solstice, and now it's time for Supermoon. And what it makes really interesting, it's a only model in Campfire Audio lineup based on the planar driver. It's a single driver planar magnetic earphones, and I still wonder why Campfire Audio don't offer that in the universal shell. But enough talks, actually I think it's time for closer look. I don't know how package looks for the custom version, probably closer to this one, and also need to mention that they offer 2 versions of customs, for musicians and for audiophiles. Musician version has longer spouts, or that part that goes into the ear, while audiophile version is for those who want to get more comfort. But today we're speaking about universals anyway. Package is traditional. I really like that old good cardboard box with this cake-like packaging, black in color, like Campfire Audio don't play with different designs of customs. They offers just a black version. So underneath we're getting some accessories, typical set for the Campfire Audio. So for Supermoon, few pair of foams, few pair of single flange silicones, also cleaning tool and pin in separate bag, and cleaning clothes. I don't see a bag with final audio tips here, but actually it's maybe because it's not a new out of the box pair of earphones. So inside we're getting earphones, cable, storage bag, and actually it's some adapters that was used by someone, because stock cable is 2.5 millimeters and Pentacon is now much more widespread option. So let's unwind it. You know, that's kind of nostalgic experience with all the boxes and stuff. Inside there are earpieces themselves and yet another pair of foams. But first let's take a look at earpieces themselves. So from one hand it's almost classical and traditional design with this inner part. As you can see, it's typical. It reminds a lot of other custom version, or actually universal version of custom earphones. They have long extended spout that fits nicely into ears, and they have ergonomic shape, provides actually a pretty nice passive sound isolation. But here faceplates looks really like something made by Campfire Audio, with that metal insert offering great design. Inside there is a planar magnetic driver and specially created 3D printed inner cavity for exactly this earphone. So it's typical approach for the Campfires to apply some acoustic tuning using 3D printing technologies for their products. Cable is pretty soft, it's well used too. It's traditional with ear hooks, but we've seen it with many models by Campfire Audio in the past. Really soft, really convenient with almost zero microphonics. Splitter with chin slider, and it goes down below to this 2.5mm angle jack. So in terms of design they are great, and actually custom version will look almost the same except of this end of the spout. So here we're getting just openings and lip for holding the tips, but in the custom version you'll get a bit more extension based on your ear's impressions. And of course about the sound, I didn't burn them in because they were carefully burned in by generations of Ukrainian audiophiles trying this model. But speaking about the representation, tuning and stuff, I have two thoughts. First one is how well they fit into my subjective preference. I like non-natural signature, but at the same time really technical, and they deliver it really good balance even with accents on the low and low frequencies and treble, still really great level of detalization, naturalness and stuff. And the second thought connected to that is why they haven't released this model as traditional universal model. I need some way to steal these ones, but unfortunately I will probably have to return them. So low frequencies go to maximum depths possible in the in-ear monitors. Actually, it's one of the signature parts of this earphones is that both ends goes almost to the maximum, and that maximum is probably limited just by your hearing and by absolutely technical limitations of earphones, because like you can't hear like super deep bass because it perceived not by ears but by body. But speaking about bass here, it's accented but not too much, and at the same time it's very balanced. Usually like we're getting some leaning towards punch or focus on the micro details, or I don't know, added weight. Here you're getting both punch and weight, and everything is really well balanced and in really satisfying amount. So depth is maximum, but luckily accent made on the whole bass. There is no attempt to make the focus on the mid bass or on the deeper bass to make everything more tighter, more impactful, or on the mid bass to add some weight. No, here you're getting really good amount of weight that is present in the record and really good punch when it's necessary. And at the same time you're getting really good amount of small nuances and great amount of texturing. Actually it's not the right way to say, you're just getting great texturing for some high-end recordings with live instruments. You're getting that nuances and of the strings and stuff, and with electronic music you're getting nice amount of deep bass, really well layered. So you can select music eeuD, you can select massive attack, you can select some audiophiliac record, and in all cases you're getting really great bass. So, and first example for the low frequencies, it's Alexis Cole, Aren't We Got Fun? It's HD Tracks sampler, and actually if you're looking for some free tunes with really good record quality, pay attention at HD Tracks sampler, they have a bunch of those. And it's typical audiophile record with great, really superb record quality, mastering and mixing and stuff. And definitely here you get really good amount of bass, you're getting all instruments that goes to the low frequencies presented in nice and realistic way. The second track for the low frequencies will be Caravan Palace Clash, and it's a good music. It's not some masterpiece in terms of record quality, but it's really engaging, and they offers interesting mix of electronic dance music and some kind of jazz and swing tunes. But what is most interesting here, what sets them apart from big share of other similar groups, that they not making the main accent on the over-dominating bass. It's present and it's building nice foundation, but their main focus is mid frequencies, treble, interesting samples, vocal and other stuff. So bass here is important, but it should not be dominating because it spoils the impressions. And these earphones like deliver it in a really great way. It has nice punch, but at the same time it's not trying to accent it more than creators wanted. Mid frequencies continue this idea in tuning. They are very balanced, really good resolution, but without excessive focus on the micro contrast that will make it sound soulless or boring or dull. But at the same time, of course, they depending on the quality of record. Not because they will highlight any issues, but they will play it just as is. But it's really important that track will have proper dynamics, weight distribution, emotions and stuff, because they're not trying to highlight anything. The only coloration they have on the mid frequencies is that typical accent on the upper mids. It's not big, but it definitely helps female vocal sound more emotional and forward, and also it helps some instruments, like for example violins sound a bit more forward, or distorted guitars or some stuff like that. It's really fun and engaging. It's a bit step of total naturalness and balance, but here it's like adding a bit of spice to the track. At the same time, mid frequencies are super technical and they deliver what is present in the record, so if the quality is fine, you will get all that nuances. Imaginary stage is also really impressive. It's just realistic in size. Of course, it's all for the in-ear monitors, because like we have in-ear monitors, full-size headphones build better stage. Of course, not like we can select some particular example of full-size headphones that will fail and some in-ear monitors will be better, but I'm speaking about good representatives of their classes. But of course, good, even the best earphones won't compare to some nice speaker setup. So it's one of the best results for the in-ear monitors here, with really realistic size of the instruments, proper amount of distance between them, and really nice depth layering with really good depth layer transitions. So in terms of staging, they are also really capable. And let's speak about examples. So first one, it's David Bowie, Lazarus, and this like pre-mortem tracks by great artist offers a lot of interesting emotions, a lot of senses, and here it's all about the vocal in this track, but instrumental part, of course, it's also interesting, but still we came to this album to hear David Bowie, and this representation of these earphones really help his voice to shine out at the maximum level with great emotions and with great tonality and balance. And second example, it's another pretty complicated track. It's Igorrr, eeuD, or not sure how to pronounce and read it in anyway. A lot of you probably seen the video for this track or heard it because it was crazy popular, and it's like a hallucinating mix of different genres. It starts with some string baroque like music, then came some opera like vocal, but totally thick and misformed and really disturbing, but then you got a piece that reminds raw black metal, some electronic music, industrial and stuff like that. So a lot of things happening in this short 4 minutes, and these earphones deliver, you know, lot of different styles and genres, and they are great in almost everyone, starting with distorted guitars and ending with some piercing drums. And treble, really good, well balanced. Of course, it has a bit of additional energy to balance low frequencies, but not too much. To my taste, they are not even close to being harsh or being sharp, but if you're sensitive to the treble, of course it's better to try them before buying. But in general, you know, it's not typical for the high-end segment to make recessed treble, or at least I haven't faced such models. And at the same time, you're getting here a really good layering, great extension, and that means first of all, sense of realism because of instruments overtones, also sense of room where recorded is taken, if it's recorded properly and not just mixed from different tracks, and great overtone saturation, really good attacks in decays. You know, planars are balancing between dynamic driver and balanced armatures, and in this case they are really succeed. So let's see examples I've prepared. First one, it's Nguyên, or how it should be read also. It's the jazz covers of Dark Side of the Moon. It's in particular its time. It's interesting, but you know, actually, how to say it, I really like this work as independent music, but I don't like it as cover, because for me Pink Floyd stands really high, and Dark Side of the Moon is one of masterpieces that don't need to be covered in any way, and especially like by Roger Waters, who decided to tell everyone the truth using this masterpiece. But it's my subjective opinion, of course. And here we're getting a big orchestra, big jazz orchestra, and lot of instruments nicely recorded, and thanks to the good staging here, thanks to the great amount of overtones and layering, you're getting all nuances of the instruments and all the sense of presence. And second example for the treble, it's Postmodern Jukebox, Don't Stop Belivin, another great band that uses nostalgia effect. They're making covers of modern music, or relatively modern, because Don't Stop Believing is not like this year creation or sort of. And they do it in jazz, swing, orchestra styles from 30s, 40s, 50s years. They do it with great style. They noticeably grow up in terms of record quality and everything we can hear on this album, and that requires really nice treble performance that this model gives you. Speaking about the pairings, you definitely need something good for them, so at least that players from the close to $1,000 price range, or even exceeding it, they have a really great amount of scaling, even with really top of the line players. They are not super sensitive, but still they are closer to the sensitive ones, typically for the Campfire Audio, so low background noise would be a plus for them, but like modern players rarely suffer from the background noise, and it's another good news for us. Speaking about the comparisons, to be honest, you know, only things to compare is just Campfire Audio models. I haven't heard a lot of popular models in the 1000 plus segment, so it's limited to basically Campfire Audio. But for example, Ara is more natural and slightly more focused on the micro contrast. I really like Ara, and for me, in my opinion, they are underestimated, but you know, market made its decision and they didn't get as much popularity as Andromeda or Solaris. But here you're getting like best of two worlds. You're getting a bit less focus on the micro contrast compared to balanced armatures, but at the same time a bit faster performance compared to the dynamic drivers. So for me, like, they are a slight step forward from the Solaris and Andromeda, but it's more of subjective taste, because for example with Andromeda you'll get a bit better mids in terms of saturation by emotions, and with Solaris you'll get even more of that. But I like that way that just Planars does that. They bit less in terms of saturation, but more like coherent and fun. Unfortunately, didn't have other models to compare. Unique Melody Mass 2 is just like totally different, so that's all I can say in the comparisons. But I really recommend you to try this model, and they are really, really interesting, even despite the fact that they are for a few years on the market already. Thank you for listening, thank you for your attention, and of course have a great day.